Already? Fuck, I say. Okay, come on. Where's me and my shadow? This is meant to be a decapitated quail. This is meant to be my what is this? My iPad. And this is my phone. Okay. What is that? Close this. Pick up this. My desk is too small for the both of us. My dead quail, my left hand, which looks like my right hand. Stupid reverse thing. Okay, I've got my phone. Where's my coffee? Good morning, Mitch. God, Mitch, right? Mitch. Yesterday I had fun drawing on a live YouTube via StreamYard with 3 artists. Well, 2 artists and me. 3 total. And we were drawing, 2 of the artists were drawing quail, a group of quail, a bevy of quail, whatever they were called, whatever a group of quail is called. And I wasn't really drawing quail. I was just doodling and listening to them talk about quail and philosophy and who knows what all. And when I finally got around to drawing a quail, I just had a decapitated quail. And then on a different one, I turned on X minus 1, which is a radio science fiction show from 1950 something or other. And I listened to that while drawing the spaceships landing on Mars. Which was in the future, they were landing on Mars. The date when this was considered possible was 1986. So we had a brighter future back then than we have now. So Jack suggested that, is there a way where I could show some of the art I make rather than just talk about pens forever? Yes, the anchor. It does have yes, it needs an anchor because I learned that it was a Navy ship. Which I thought was funny that the Navy was what went to Mars. Air Force was stuck doing whatever they do. So anyway, I do a lot of drawings now on the iPad, And one of the things I like to draw on the iPad are pocket watches. The pocket watch works. So this was a pocket watch work that came from a Facebook group that deals in pocket watches. And I'm just looking at all of the mistakes I made. No, so I draw on this device, this iPad Pro, on a app that I really, really like called Sketch Club. And what it allows me, it has two things that it does for me. One, it records the drawing as I draw it, which other apps do. But what this app that I love has is a tool that I like called the vector tool. And so this is the drawing. This is the subject I drew. And this is the drawing I did of it. But what's neat about the drawing I did of it is the recording of it. So let's see if I can show you how I did it. I didn't draw this fast, obviously. Let's see if I can get it so you don't see as many reflections. I use the iPad pencil for this particular thing, but the tool I use doesn't take advantage of the iPad pencil-ness. I could use my finger to draw with this, my big fat finger. Anyway, it ends up looking like that when it's done. And I thought maybe I would draw this using a pen now, but we'll see if I get that way. Let me just go back to other things I draw are the tail lights of cars. Now, why do I draw these? I often go, when I'm with my brother in Minnesota, we go grocery shopping, and I just say, I'll just stay in the car and play. And so I look out and I see all these different tail lights, and I draw all these different tail lights. Why do I draw these different tail lights? I have no idea. Oh, there's a headlight. Daylight. Parking lot, other parking lot. This is some fancy sports car in our garage. Oh, there's a naked person. I also draw naked people on a different site. So there's the naked person's head, there's the naked person's hand, there's the naked person's winky. There he is again. Oh, and here's my music. Going to the library, going to the Natural History Museum, more naked people. We'll go past those. And there's a lot of naked people. Bad pier. Bad. Oh, then I did a bunch of ones with just lace. Somewhere in my house, I got a big gob of lace. So I drew lace, and then with my device app, I sort of psychedelicized it sometimes. So I have fun drawing. Here's some more lace drawings. Oh, don't want to show you that. Sorry, didn't mean to scare you. Oh, here's a drawing I did at the Philadelphia Pen Show. And this is a chain around the door, and through that little tiny crack in the door of the ballroom were thousands of pens. This was their security system. Well, yes, it's not a naked person. It was a depiction of a naked person. Other watches. I come from a family that did art. I was just wondering if any of my father's drawings are on this iPad. Oh, here they are. Here's my dad when he was in Korea. And here he is when I was in college. He looked like that, like Ilya Kuryakin, the man from Uncle, Dad from Uncle. And then this is sort of in when a year before he died, last 2 years ago. And I don't think he lost a hair on his head in all of his years of living. Anyway, my dad loves to draw, and he, like as I do, is always finding a blank piece of paper and covering it up. So sometimes he would sit and watch TV, and he would just draw the people he saw on TV, the newscasters and stuff. Here's a drawing of Bernadette Peters. Here's an abstract challenge drawing. He does challenge drawings as well. Here he's drawing at the lake, he's drawing the rocking chair, which for some reason was outside. I don't know why that. Oh no, this is inside the house. Here he's drawing little fishing lures. Another collage he made. These are notes that he would take while he was on business trips, and this is his accounting. So here's his receipt for American Express, which he glued onto his sketchbook. So he'd give this to his accountant to try to figure out. Some birds. So I come from he was in Korea for the war, and so here's another collage he made using a invitation he got to go to a fashion preview. He traveled mainly to New York. Another iPad. I have other things that my father did. Here's my trip to Minneapolis. This is the airport. And here's that's the porthole window. That's the seat in front of me. Here's looking out the window at the landscape. And the finished landscape here. So I just have fun drawing, and I can draw on the iPad. Just have to make sure that we don't have naked people here. What is this? Oh, my dad loved playing solitaire. While he was watching the news, he'd keep his hands busy by drawing or playing solitaire. So these are his cards, all in a gob. What is this a picture of? Oh, this is a picture of my brother's bookkeeping. On our dining room table, there was all these bills and computer and all sorts of stuff. We have, in Minneapolis, we have rugs on top of rugs. So the pattern of Oriental rugs is fun. Here's, what is this meant to be? Oh, this is driving up to the lake. Anyway, I do a lot of drawings on the iPad, and I've learned how to use color. Oops, I need this because I want to do a drawing of that Watchworks that you just saw me draw on the iPad. I want to draw with a pen. So I want to draw this. Yeah, I really like showing how I do things, whether it's how I do design a business card or a map. I will, on paper, I'll show all of the drawings and plans and composition on my paper drawings and what the final result is. And often the final result is much more boring than the sketches that go into it. So if I were to draw this watch using a pen, I'm going to draw it in blue, a little bit of red. Here's a little bit of brown. I'll just try a bunch of different colors. Here's a real fine one. So let's just see what I can do here with these pens. And I think I'm going to draw on vellum, which is a very slick surface. I had a neighbor in the letterpress business, and he, when you do a job for someone and they're getting married and they are inviting 50 guests, you can't just buy 50 envelopes. They come in packs of 100 or 1,000 or whatever. And this guy was closing his business down, and I ended up buying from him, or he would give me a bunch of stuff he didn't need anymore. Like these, I have hundreds of these vellum envelopes. So I am going to draw on this sort of transparent paper. It's like tracing paper. I'm not going to trace over the thing though. I'm just drawing it on here. See if I can find a Okay, Jack, should I get your Now, Jack and Mitch, both of you, I'm not trying to do any sort of bait and switching, but I know, Jack, you had picked out a black, or I had found a black Skyline that I was going to put a nice rubbery nib in it for you, but the black Skyline had that little bump, that little boil or tumor growing on its side for some reason. I don't quite know what that was. And in looking for another black barrel, I found this complete. There's a little fencing scar there from the clip, I guess, but this complete navy blue one. But what's interesting about this one, you have the larger pen. This is the shorter pen. So this is neat because it's different from the one you already have. So I'm suggesting, you don't have to say yes, but I'm suggesting that this might be the pen I would use instead of the one that has the lump on it. Well, crappy and beat up is perfectly fine if the nib is nice. So this nib is very fine, and I'll find a flexible nib, a drawing nib in this one. Though, again, you were saying that the what do you call it? The Eberhard Faber sort of is a duplicate of this. Maybe you don't need another Skyline. This has a slightly flexible fine nib, which is good, but I can find one that's different. So yes on this one, okay, in terms of its shorter navy blue one. Okay, we've got that going. And it's throwing ink at me, as you can see. There were certain, they're fine, they don't decay or break under normal circumstances, but there are certain colors. The gray is really fragile when you're trying to take them apart, trying to take the section out of the thing. They often will crack. The gray and I think the brown were tough. I mean, they weren't tough. They were fragile. They're tough to get apart without trauma. So anyway, we'll put this one in there, and then this, Jack, is your Lady Patricia, and I have found this nib for that one. It's a little slightly flexible. As you can see, it has a delicate fine. Okay. Anyway, so this one, actually this one, Jack, the one I put in here, might be good for your place cards because it is fine and flexible. So maybe you don't need a different pen for that one. This will do the trick. And again, the pens that you get from me, it doesn't mean that this is the only time you can buy pens from me. So now let's find a different piece of paper that isn't all ruined. And I'll see if I can do a drawing using these pens on this, of this watch. I was showing, I had a display up of, where did my paintbrush go? I need my paintbrush for this job too. Did it fall on the floor? Be right back. Get another paintbrush. Okay, can't find my paintbrush. I'll use these brush pen things. Okay, so I was showing, I had a display of these Watchwork drawings I did on the iPad in the gallery, and one of my pen collector friends was visiting me, and he said, "How do you do that?" And I said, What do you mean? I use my iPad. No, how do you make those circles? How do you make your circles so circular? And I said, draw them freehand. I don't use a compass. And he looked at me like as if I was lying to him. So you don't see a compass anywhere here, do you? Even though you know I've got a million sets of them. Let's see what I can do. Quite flexible, require more pressure. That might require more. I don't know. So here's my circle. Circular enough, I guess. I kind of didn't want this to make this watch so big, but my sleeve is bumping into, here's the balance wheel, here's the center dial, this has this flower thing, it has this thing coming out here like that, it does that. Screw, 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 plate, filigree, more filigree, screw, oops, do that in the wrong spot, screw, the speed control, whatever that's called. This one has a little starbursty thing going on. I'm sure my hand is going to smear stuff, but that's okay. This is the screw that holds it into the case. Still with me, boys? This ink is brown. Let's add some blue. Which ink had, oh, this one. Okay, this is the big, bad, broad nib. So I'm going to sort of mark the areas on my watch that, on this picture, that have a lot of dark. When I draw with my iPad, I'm always able to go back. I don't really erase when I do my drawings. People say, how did you do that drawing without any undos? There's usually only one undo at the beginning, and it's when I forget to put the right tool in it. But I say I don't undo, I just add white on top of the mistake and then redraw it. So I look like I'm cleverer than I am. Actually, maybe I look clever enough. I look cleverer by doing that trick. This bolt is my watch is changing locations here. This is called a bridge. I figured that out. I mean, people were describing, oh, I've got a bridge that looks like that, and I figured out that that's called the bridge. Okay, there's a lot of black right here, or dark. What's sort of neat about this picture is the metal in this thing is only silver and gold color. and it has little red rubies here and there, but because oops, that was a mistake. I have to turn that into something good. But the reflection of the ceiling and the guy's hand and the guy's shirt that he's wearing, the guy that took this picture, is adding all sorts of subtle coloring in it. There's reds and greens and all sorts of stuff, which is kind of fun. The Vacuumatic is a Maxima. The speed control is called the regulator. Oops, I just made this much wider at the top. That's okay, whatever. This is one of those very special watches that is it is really, really accurate. It's the most accurate. It's as accurate as any atomic clock, but it's only accurate twice a day. So okay, I got your message, Jack, on, I'll try to remember. Okay, let's get a little bit of brown in here. This is brown, but again, just for shits and giggles. The regulator has a little speed thingy. The last thing I'm going to do on this is add the red jewels to sparkle it up. Okay, let's add some ink wash. And again, this, it's may end up looking less watch-like, but it's going to be a prettier drawing maybe if I do it correctly. Right? Right. Add to shopping cart, $1 million. There's all sorts of filigree in here. The bridge is little incised, engraved, whatever, lines. Some of them are white against the dark background, and some of them are dark against the light background, just to make my life difficult. How many screws are over here? There's 3, and I only drew 2. This is my favorite part, the smearing of the ink. I don't know whether Christie's has a add to shopping cart. They should. There's all sorts of frou-frou over here, including a lot of, Waltham Watch Company, wherever, Waltham, Massachusetts. Yeah, yeah, it is fun. There's, the brush, the water, and the way the water dissolves the ink, and how you can't control it. I guess you could control it if you did a million of them. You'd know exactly where the water was going to go, but that is too much like work for me. So you can't show naked people on YouTube? Or you can't show photographs of naked people? Because I think any person that takes a selfie in a museum with a Greek sculpture, you've got naked people, naked sculptures everywhere. Should I add some? I have this pen here, which is this weird gray sort of rubbery brush tip that's adding a little tiny bit of pigment in gray. And it's slightly, this is fun because it's not easy to control how this is going to work either. This nib is very weird, both in what the amount of ink is still left in the pen, which is minimal, and where the point actually will deposit the ink is also unclear, unpredictable to me. Again, it might be predictable if I spent hours playing with it and then remembering what I learned. When people say things like, oh, romaine lettuce doesn't agree with me, or baked beans make me fart, or whatever, I say, God, I never ever pay attention to what happens after the food goes in my mouth and I swallow it successfully. I might remember if I get food poisoning and I start throwing up, I might make the connection between what I just swallowed and the results. But if the next day I end up having horrible gas or diarrhea or whatever, I will never, ever, ever connect it with what I ate the night before. I just don't care. I don't remember things. So for me to go through the trouble of learning how the brush works isn't worth the trouble. Okay, where's my red? I need to add my red rubies. Oh, documenting indigenous people. Okay, here's a ruby, red ruby. Here's another ruby. Except that red got mixed in with the black, so there's another one here. I think there's one here and one here, which I forgot to draw. I think you see something going on down there under the hairspring. And I think that's it for rubies. It's 19 jewels it says. Well, I don't see 19. I know it's always an odd number. You only see half plus one. looking up at you because the other half is on the other side of the axle. But and I know there's the balance wheel, I think, or the escapement, or there's something that only has one jewel on it. Oh, it's the crown. It's the windy bit. That's something I learned. Okay, I need more blue. Trying to draw the pattern on this one because it's kind of neat. And now it looks the odd man out, so I have to smear it a bit. Well, you know, I am only one artist, so my style, you can't get away from sort of my style, I guess. There's a friend I follow on Facebook, and not so much Facebook, he doesn't do that. On Instagram is named Russell Facemeyer, and his drawing skills are just amazing, and they're so very different from each other. He can draw so many different ways. He was actually here in the room the other day, and he and this other artist whose work I really admire, she and Russell and I drew together yesterday on live YouTube on Russell's channel, and it was really, really fun watching them. They were drawing quail. Sally, who was drawing, she is studying philosophy, and there's this philosophical logic problem she was trying to describe about children playing in the mud, and their foreheads are muddy, and how can the children, by thinking or asking logical questions to each other, how can they discover how many of them, because they can't see their own forehead, but how can they come up with the correct answer of all of them have mud on their forehead? And my answer wasn't good enough. It was the right correct answer involved any number of further steps, but it might have been more logically elegant because B followed from A, where my contingency was not as elegant, I guess. I don't know. You'll have to ask her why mine didn't work. Yeah, Facemeyer is he and I met through Peter Draw's channel, and we've become very, very good friends, and we have Peter Draws to thank for that. I had sent Peter Draws some pens, and he saw that video and wanted to know if he could buy some pens. So I sold him some pens, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's lost one of them. I don't like when people lose pens on me. I go through a lot of trouble to, as you can tell, by finding the right pen for people. There, add to shopping cart. So here are three quails. I'm this quail, and you're looking down. There's my little beak. Here's my eye, and I can see these two quails, and we're all looking at each other. And I say to this one, I can see that this one has a muddied forehead. And I ask this one, how many quails do you see with mud on? Do you see two quails? It has to be a yes or no question. Do you see two quails with mud on their forehead? And if this person said yes, then I would automatically know that we're all dirty. If this person said no, I would then ask this person, do you see one quail with one thing? And then if this person said yes to the one, I would know, and if I could see this person had mud on their head, I would know that mine head was clean. Ta-da, done. 2 questions. How much would I price this? Oh, look at this. Look how accurate I am. Ta-da! It's a little smaller. If I lifted this up, this $25. Add to shopping cart. I'll sign it here. Beer in red ink with a signing with a 21, for God's sake. You don't have to buy it. Should I see if I can draw one really, really tiny? How small can I make it? Where's my other? Where's my smallest? I'm going to make it as big as that quail. Oh, we met each other via Peter Draws shortly after I sent Peter Draws that fountain pen. And so if you look up 60-year-old pen or whatever it is, you can find the date that was made, that Peter did that. And shortly after that, we started talking on Skype, and Russell was in college, senior in college, and he was about to go to grad school, and he went to grad school in upstate New York, and I convinced him to come down and visit me one weekend. And he was a TA, and he did a little bit of moving some classes around so that he could spend a longer weekend here. And we went to a number of museums and hung out. And I had another friend who he saw the work of, and he really liked that guy. So I asked him to visit. So we all three of us sort of had a fun weekend together, and unfortunately, I had a pen meeting I had to go to. I had to host, actually, and in my building, so I sent Russell and Mark out to the Fog Art Museum, and they had lunch together and had a good time as well. And so it does seem maybe that Russell and I know each other for a long time, because we did actually meet in the flesh, and we've done a lot of joint YouTube things. And we talk about art, and not really pens, but we've drawn each other, we've posed for each other as well, which is sometimes fun. He's very thin, and I'm very unthin, so it becomes sort of a interesting contrast in the results. Russell is a very fun sense of humor as well. It's quite punny. I don't know what you guys are saying, but because I'm looking down rather than looking up. I'll look up in a minute. Yeah, Peter is really an interesting character. I really want to talk with him face to face on Skype or something, because his persona on his channel is very interesting, and but he's never rarely does he talk with another person. I have seen him being interviewed by Figboot on pens, but Figboot isn't an artist, and Figboot, as nice as he is, he can talk about pens, but he doesn't get what I think I get in talking to Peter, that I would get by talking to Peter. And okay, I'm going to draw the crown on this one because I can. Okay, do I add my ink wash on this? Should I do that? Guys, what do you think? Let me take a picture of it first with my phone. And let me zoom in. It's interesting because the camera here is also seeing the shadow of the what do you call it? Shadow on the bottom on the other page. Okay, let's get our this nib. Yes, we'll use this one. I probably should have used black rather than brown. See that big dark thing that just happened with this pen? It's because it's not reliable. It's not consistent. That's what I meant, consistent. I like its little squeakiness though. This paper does allow me to go back and mush out what it sort of is a burnisher to my drawing. Okay, let's add some red. Let's add my little red jewels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Throw a couple of blue things in there just for shits and giggles. No idea what this is going to look like when it's actually, when I see it in the bright light of day. This light bulb I'm drawing with is not great, and if my mother were alive, she'd say, "Per Gustafson, Per Scott Gustafson," she'd say. "Peary deary do," she'd say. Yeah, I know, peary deary do. She'd say, "You're going to ruin your eyes by reading in the dark or drawing in the dark." Well, we'll see. This is going to turn into something. I don't know what. Well, I mean, you saw how many hours I spent on this. So yes, smearing it. Is what I'm doing now with the wet brush. Am I ruining it? I'm just adding glitter. Add to shopping cart. $1 million. Let's see what this looks like close up. Oops. So on this StreamYard thing that I did with Russell and Sally yesterday, we were able to, I'll just show you, I think, if I can figure out, I'll show you the actual video on my device. And you can, but it would be fun to do it maybe with you two guys side by side with, and we all talk, and the image shows the three of us chatting about pens, and you don't have to show your face, you show your looking down. It may be like a new Zoom. Let me see if I can find it here. Let me go to Instagram. Let me go to there and here. Russell. Here we go. Drawing. Here's how Russell titled it. Drawing with Sally and maybe Pierre we don't know yet. Tap to unmute.
I think we are live.
I see it says the broad.
All I had to do was press the button that said go live, guys.
You know,
you are not in good hands.
I may have to move your Venn diagram a little bit further out of Sally's.
You can hear them on my computer.
So here we're drawing. Russell is here.
Foreheads do you see? And they say, or you say, do you see two muddy foreheads?
See, I'm trying to describe my thing with Sally.
All of them have.
Anyway, the end results. Here's Russell's drawing.
Oh, yes, indeed.
And my decapitated one, and there's Sally, and Sally drew she drew, hers was more elegant, if I can try to draw it here. There were 3 quails in a nest, and she showed how they all understood that they all had dirty foreheads by this one is thinking this, and it's thinking that this one is thinking that, a different thing, and then this one is thinking this, and this one is thinking something else, and by somehow thinking what all the other people are thinking, she gets to the therefore, whatever is it 3 dots like that? Therefore, QED, all of us have dirty foreheads. So that's way too many brain cells in my little head. I'm very much into jury rigging something that will work just fine. It may not be elegant. Shit, what happened? It may not be elegant, but no, it didn't have to be quails. The original thing she said was they're children. There are 3 children that are playing in the mud. And what 5 sheets I'm talking about? Haven't tried it though. What 5 sheets? Oh. So would you two if I could figure out how to make StreamYard work. See, StreamYard allows me to schedule through YouTube a StreamYard menage a trois. Whereas Zoom, I think in order for you to record a Zoom session, you have to pay for a professional version of Zoom. Okay, I figured you would. Now, Mitch, do you have, this is a personal question, do you have family or a spouse of some sort that you have to, like when Russell and I were talking at some point, Russell was teaching children, and he and I would do homework together. The homework he would give to his children, his classes, Russell and I would do, and we'd come up with things, and we would tone our conversations to use language that was understandable by children and also kept out of the gutter. Good, I like that. See, and now when Russell quit his job, which kind of surprised me, but not, it was way more complicated because of COVID. He had to teach twice as much because he had to teach for the people that were in school, and he then had to teach to the people that were staying home. And if it was just one or the other, I think he would still be a teacher. But he ended up quitting and getting a different job. So you can do whatever you want. What about Jack? Jack can do it too. He's not. See, if people have an actual career and family that could be embarrassed, you know. My mom and dad are both dead, and I don't care what my brothers discover about me that they don't already know. For example, I don't have an art career that I have to do. Like Wasky, for example. Wasky, teaches high school, and he has maybe, not that he would do anything out of the ordinary anyway, but has a online persona and also a professional persona that is a little bit stricter in what one does. Well, yes, YouTube. I mean, we're not going to dance naked under the maypole, but I don't want to. I mean, certainly a conversation is not going to immediately go into the gutter. But I know when Wasky and I talk, when we're done with our side-by-side chat, I stay on the line and talk with him, and we talk about school and politics and things like that. And it's something that I think he would feel uncomfortable necessarily sharing. He does share an awful lot of his beliefs and ideas on his channel, but I like playing the devil's advocate and throwing things out and making exaggerated things as part of my conversation. And so what I'll do is I'll try to figure out how to sign in to StreamYard. You don't have to sign in on StreamYard yourself. You just click on the link and I invite you into the room that I've created. And then we talk. And it does work with your phone, I discovered. And So I think what would be fun, it was difficult for Sally to hold her phone and draw at the same time. So if you were to make some sort of tripod-y thing to hold your phone, or use your computer and use one of these cameras, it would work fine. No, I mean, and your public officialness, we don't have to say that it's you. We can use the name Jack. You can pick whatever name you want. And if you want to really throw people off, you could say you're Jack from Australia. I think you should stick with Jack, though, because at least I know you in this context as Jack. I don't want to start remembering other people's names. Affix Technol, Affix Technol, Apex Technol. I would say Affix Technol. Affix Technol. That Technol is like Affix Technol. Which syllable is the emphasized one? Affix Technol. I think I would, if you were a drug that you would take to decrease heart murmurs but give you explosive diarrhea as a side effect, it would be take Affextinol. And the K would be silent, a silent K. Affextinol. Ask your doctor about Affextinol. 9 out of 10 doctors. I don't like this ask your doctor shit. You ask your doctor, fix me. You tell them to fix me or tell me what's wrong. You don't say, I did some research in reading Lancet and discovered that 38% of people taking Affextinol have explosive diarrhea. What are your thoughts? So I'm going to tell you a true story. And this comes from the nephew of the woman who witnessed the Kennedy assassination in Dallas, Texas. So I'm going to draw, here's my rendition of here's the aunt of my friend. She's here watching holding a little flag or whatever she's doing as the presidential motorcade is going down the street. There's Dealey, there's the chauffeur, there's Mrs. Daley, Governor Daley, Governor Connolly, Dealey Plaza, Governor Connolly and his wife, the chauffeur, Mrs. Kennedy, and the president. Here's the back of the car. So here's the little flag and the flag fluttering, right? They're going in this direction. At some point, of course, we know that a bullet comes and blows apart the head of John F. Kennedy. So this person after the death in the hospital and the whatever, witnesses are called by the CIA and the FBI and the Secret Service and whatever. And she said out of her pie hole, out of her mouth, she said, I think I saw some smoke coming from that, she pointed her hand, grassy knoll. Now, the grassy knoll was not called the grassy knoll. It was not. This park is placed here by the veterans of foreign wars and is called the grassy knoll. She came up with that term, grassy knoll. She could have said verdant hillock. I saw some smoke rising from the verdant hillock over yonder, or that bumpy lawn, grassy knoll, Knoll, verdant hillock, that what else could that fauna, flora, what's another word for grassy? The truth of it was that the term grassy knoll was made up by this woman who is the aunt of a friend of mine in Boston. She lives in Texas, still lives in, well, she might be dead now, but she was 20 years ago, she was alive. And they used her in the, I mean, they consulted her when they were making the movie about the assassination by whoever it was, not Spielberg, one of those other people. Anyway, so she used that term. Now, had she said the bumpy lawn or that verdant hillock, maybe there wouldn't have been the conspiracy theory, but the silent K in grassy knoll, I think that silent K is mysterious and went right down the path of conspiracy theory. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Add your thoughts below. So your name affects technol. The K could be silent. Affectanol. Affectanol. Ask your doctor about affectanol. Well, I think the silent K, the grassy knoll sounds mysterious, doesn't it? Verdant hillock sounds poetic. I saw some smoke from the verdant hillock, but it must have been some lovers sharing a cigarette. The bumpy lawn over there, then you'd think not of a sniper. You'd think of, some guy with a lawnmower backfiring or something. Grassy knoll. I have to turn on my sound effects here just a second. If I can get my hand down there. I went through the trouble of grassy knoll. There. Does that seem mysterious enough. The carpeted promontory. Well, I think that's good, except that's confusing because you'd think of astroturf and turf might be good. Something turf. What's something that suggests maybe slightly wild? The untamed turf. That would be good. The lawn-like prominence. Well, see, the grassy bit, I mean, I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was unkempt. I mean, grass to me sounds like it's tall grass, not like it's lawn. Well, I like the carpeted made me think of turf. Anyway, yes. Is Jack still with us? Did Jack leave us? So anyway, I'm going to sign into StreamYard. Oh, Jack is there. I'm gonna create an account in StreamYard, and I'm gonna see about doing this now. Now, Effectstanol, you're on Instagram, right? Because that's kind of an easy way for me to schedule. Are you following me on Instagram? Am I following you? I can't. Again, it's my brain is overloading with all of the various. Oh yes, I do remember that. So what I can do is maybe make a little group chat, if I can figure out how to do that, with the three of you. And I think 3 side by side and 3 people talking is optimal. 4 would be getting, the pictures get smaller. 3 is good. And it may be the 3 of us. It may be maybe Wasky and someone in me could do it sometime. But I like the fact that, and then Canada too. He and I think Canada and Brussels have quite a lot in common in terms of what they are looking for a pen to do, and also they share a lot of what they like. Now, Effectstanol, I don't exactly know how you overlap with those two. I know that you like Schaefer pens, and I know that none of you are overly picky about the condition of the pen. It's the nib. Wasky is, because right now his interests really lay in pens made behind the Iron Curtain. That's something I know nothing about, but it might be something that someone else that he knows maybe would be interested in chatting with him, he and I. Well, Wasky got out his old typewriter, having been inspired by Alicia, Adventure Denali, or whatever her name is. And so that inspired me to get out one of my computers. I mean, one of my typewriters. So, but the main thing is coming up with 3 people that talk. There's enough overlapping that we understand each other without having to explain it too much. But there's also some surprises that show up because there's 3 people talking. And I think that's what's fun. 2 people talking, the surprises aren't as forthcoming. I like the way this sounds, this paper. So let me now figure out how do I do a group chat. Let's just do that. Can I do that somehow? Find. Affix data message. Can I add another message to you? I'll just say hi. Info. Members following mute chat. Trister Blue has started a video. Trister Blue is this great artist. Okay, now let me see. Now Jack, you talk to me as well on this. Yes, I see you. So let me send you something. Hi. Why are you sending a tear to me? Why you sent an unhappy face with a tear? Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to do a group chat now that I've got both of you here. Can I send Affix your name, Jack? Can I send him your thing here? Maybe if one of you can figure out how to do a group chat. I just don't use this enough. Is it oh, you make a room, I think. Create room. Aha! I think that's how it works. Create room is Pierre Gustafson. Okay, and I'm going to share this link. I'm going to search for a send and send. Join room on, I don't want to join room on Messenger. I want it to be here. How does it work? Okay. Jack, I'm going to send your info to Affix Tonal, and if one of you can figure out how to make a group chat here, you can. Is that okay? If I can figure out how to do this now. No. I just did that. Okay, go back here, ignore that. Go here, new posts. Go here. I don't want to do that. I don't want to, all. How How do I send it? There we go. I send this to FL. Okay. So I just sent Jack Effects' thing, and I'll do the same. I'm getting car sick. Trying to figure out how to do this. Okay. Okay. Now I just sent you each other. Oh, you haven't done a group yet. Oh, you may set up. Okay. Well, if you want to do that, that's fine. I'm just looking at other people here that might be fun to include. Todd Merrill. I'll figure out how to do it. There has to be a way to do it. My friend Trister Blue is
here.
Hi, Trister. Oh, he can't hear me.
Long time no chat.
Yes, let's chat. Chat. Sometime. Face to face. Face to face. Trister is a great artist as well with the human figure. And he uses various different kinds of pens, brush pens and ink pens and pencil and color, and they're very cool. Yeah, I know that there's a way. See, I did one with Instagram with Sally and see, here's the one that we do with Russell and Sally and I. But I don't know. Name this group. But when I do it, it wants me to type talk in Facebook Messenger, and I don't want to. I want to keep it on Instagram. So someone can explain it to me. So is there anything else I can tell you? So Jack, I've got these two things to deal with. I've got this pen that has a slightly springy, tight nib, but if you write small, it does this thing that we wanted the Boinga Boinga to do. So this may work for the Boinga Boinga. So we don't have to find you another pen. And this one, I will put a flexible rubbery nib for drawing on this one for you. Take Effextinol. That's Effextinol with the silent K. And you'll be up and running in no time. Side effects include explosive diarrhea, ringing in your ears, death, and premature baldness. Effextinol. And what would be the logo? It would start with an A. It would be an A. And let's say it made you happy. So it has a an upward erection. No, upward thoughtfulness. It makes you less depressed. So it's an A with a boner. What do you think about that, Effextinol? Can I say boner on YouTube? What do you mean awful? How can a logo that's phallic be awful? I think it's I think all phallic logos are by their nature happy. Take Effextinol. How about the story wall with the issues? The nib in this one also really nice. Do you think? Okay, Jack, we're going to have to talk face to face with all of the pens that we were considering with you, and then see what we can do. I can call you by your real name if you want. I can call Jack by his real name if he wants, but he is a public that he has to concern himself with. Effextecnol. It's way too many syllables in your name, Effextinol. I think the t and nol have to be the last part. Or it could be ext and all. It's the ahextanol. Afextanol. It's separating the A. The A is a syllable all by itself, is the hard thing. Yes, I think you probably should. So let's stick with the 4 that you wanted plus the 2 before me trying to find a section for this thing. I know you wanted this one. Oh, this one is the one I have. This one is the one I was going to sell. So let's get these pens out to you first and see how you like me and them. I'll work on trying to figure out how to make an Instagram group chat. No. Chat. No. New message. Camera. No, I don't want that. I want to type in group chat. How to make a Instagram group chat. Tap in the top field to the right, select 2 or more people. Then tap chat. Let's see if it works. Do you want to see if it works? We'll see if it works. Okay, where's the chat? No, that brings me to you. don't want to do that. That brings... new message. There we go. Select. That's how I do it. And okay, that's not working. Okay, I figured it out. So I'm going to say hi to both of you at the same time. Okay. Now I just did it. I just did it. So, and now I've got the three of us are now talking. We're talking here using voice and typing, and we're talking here using typing. So we have it figured out. Okay. We have to come up with a different logo for you. That's two. You have to tell me, Effextinol, what does your drug actually cure? And what are its side effects? It's going to fix what? Side effects. What do you think you want your Effextinol to correct? Posture? Writer's cramp? Writer's cramp. Effextinol cures writer's cramp. Or what's the thing that artists get when they can't think of anything new? Writer's block. So it fixes writer's block. That seems like that would be a magic drug. I think it can't do both of those things. I think, scoliosis, it fixes scoliosis, and short-term memory loss is down here, the side effect. I think one of the side effects has to be explosive diarrhea. Explosive bowels. We'll make it pretty. Explosive bowels. And it fixes scoliosis of the liver. Take Effextinol today. You can be back at the bar drinking with all of your friends without any worry of liver damage. The side effects, though, are excessive flatulence. Okay, so if this is going to fix your liver so you can drink more, I think this would be the better logo. We have the cross of the A. These are sort of representing slightly wobbly legs. Here's the top of your head. And this is the cross of the A, and it's holding a bottle of beer. How about that? Oh, cirrhosis. Scoliosis is messed up spine. Okay. How do we turn this into a messed up spine? We have it look like that. So this is sort of like an S for scoliosis. So we have the messed up spine here. This is one leg. Here's the other leg going straight down. The arms are coming up like this. And you don't have to drink. Now you don't have to drink. Okay. Well, I'm sorry about the messed up spine. Well, we'll just get right on that. You don't drink. I don't drink anymore, but I used to drink a lot. And I say, how do you manage to get through the day without boozing it up? Okay. On this note, I'm going to put these pictures on the watch collector's website as an example of my non-digital art. And I'll see you all later. Thank you for watching. Jack will talk sometime today. Send me a blurb on Skype and we can come up with something. Bye, everyone.